If somebody makes a point and you do not agree with, just go on and reel out your points, and don't tell him, don't say I'm disappointed, or I am this, or I'm that. Everybody is entitled to his opinion, so you can't condemn somebody before you make your point. And that was what Mrs. Olukemi is talking about, and I take notice of it. That's why I'm drawing the attention of Oloye Neimatullah. Next time when you are making your point, just go straight to your point. Thank you.
Yeah, but Omar, if that's what she said, I don't think there's anything insultive about that, because what she's saying is her own opinion. So what I'm trying to get here is, was there any word that she used against Miss Adekunle that one can say this is not right? That's because if she said I don't
Sorry,
agree
don't
with
let us
you,
waste
sorry,
time. Just go ahead. Don't mind.
okay,
Don't worry about
okay.
me. Just let's go on,
All
please.
right, okay. That's fine. If you're okay with that, that's fine. Because there's a way I run my spaces. I don't want a situation where people feel insulted and everything, right? And I want to make sure that everybody is given in a level playing field that we can all disagree and agree. But thank you very much. Who else do we have? We have Health is Wealth, right? Good evening and thank you for joining us. Health is Wealth. You have the mic.
Good evening, Mindset. Good evening, Ogauma. Thank you for giving me the speaker. I'm sorry I have to regurgitate what I said the last time a little bit. And I don't want us, we women on this platform, I don't want to join issues with anybody. But there are some things that we need to correct. If we don't correct it, we will not move on as a nation, as a people. Remember last week I said, we are saying this is a seat. They gave us seat. He didn't move. That's the Senate rules. Society evolves. Like I said, in the 8th Senate, Senator Akpabio also had the same problem. And it was not nipped in the bud. If you are going to change my seat, we've all been to university. We've been to secondary school. We've been to primary school. We work in offices. When they change our seat, they inform us. They don't wait till I get to my seat and I find somebody else sitting there, or they have moved me. They inform me. This is 2025. There's an email. There's text message. There's WhatsApp. That I have what's it called? Mailbox in my office for you to inform me before I get to that seat that day. Of course, the issue of seat, as we have all seen now, was just like the tip of the iceberg for Senator Natasha. And now, so we've been doing the same thing over and over again, and we're expecting the same result because people's seats have been moved and they've moved on. He decided to take the bulls by the horn. I will now put that aside. I'm sorry, Miss Kemi. I don't want to join issues with anybody, and I'm not going to be rude to you. You made a statement. You said, we women, when we want to get something from our husband, we manipulate. We cannot generalize. If some women do it, doesn't mean everybody does it. We should not generalize. Then this issue of the Senate, for this issue of how the Senate is handling this thing, it is very, very disgraceful. There cannot be a judge and a jury in their own case. Ideally, the way this thing has blown over, they should not be investigating this matter. It should go to an independent, impartial umpire. The reason why no committee in the Senate should hear it is, number one, there is imbalance of power in that house, because everybody will pander to the Senate president. Even if they want to judge fairly, they cannot, because there's imbalance of power. There's imbalance of power there. Then everybody that has come out on the media from that house, nobody has said anything against Senator Akpabio. So they cannot be a judge and jury in their own case. The basic tenets, one of the basic tenets of law is odi alteram partem. Let the other party be heard. Everybody must be heard. Akpabio needs to be heard. Senator Natasha needs to be heard by impartial umpire. This is 2025. The Senate in Nigeria cannot be marking their own homework. It is not possible. I am not saying Senator Natasha is telling the truth. I am not saying she's lying. I am not a judge. I am not saying the fact from both parties. Both of them need to be heard by impartial umpire. And the way they've handled it, it's very shambolic. In a long time, I did not listen to politics today. I did not listen to Arise because I find the whole thing nauseating. Everybody and anybody in Senate, they've all jumped into the arena, and we expect Senator Natasha to have free hearing from them. It's not possible. And this is 2025. I leave the mic.
Okay, thank you very much, Health is Worth. Gaba, you wanted to respond to what Oloye said, I believe. Please, quickly, so I can pass the mic to some other person.
I'm in support of Nima to Oloye. What she said about giving a peer hearing. It was the same. The first lady, the Tinubu's wife now, Oluremi Tinubu. She was part of the committee when they accuse when there is a case against Senator Elisha Abo from Adamawa State. I think last regime or thereabout. She was part of the committee. In fact, she was even trying to fight him when they were chairing that committee, that he was, I think he was accused of molesting one woman in the, was it supermarket or somewhere in Abuja. Why didn't they do the same thing now to Akpabio? That is why I'm in support of what she said that time that I was trying to talk and you tell me to mute my mic. Sorry for that. What do you call it? Interruption. I mean, but this is exactly what I'm trying to say. Why wouldn't allow the peer hearing for her? The same thing that they did to Senator Elisha Abo then. And the same senators asked Natasha to go and meet the Senate president because he was the one that has been rejecting that particular bill about Ajakuta Steel Company that she wanted to raise for her people. And she has to personally go and meet him. Why wouldn't she come out and say and try to discredit what she said, that she met him in office and he was telling her that she has to satisfy him or whatever, which word she used that time. Anyway, he was telling her that she has to satisfy his whatever before the bill will go through. Can't you come out and clear himself? That's my submission. That's what I wanted to add to it. Senator Olivia Tinubu, she has to come out and fight to the same woman that she was fighting during Elisha Abo case at that time. Then we'll see at the end of the day whether Natasha was on the right path or Akpabio was on the right path. We are not trying to crucify Akpabio like what others are saying. We're not trying to crucify him. I'm a man as well. But let there be fair hearing. That's my submission, my brother.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gaba. Mr. Olatunde, please hold your thought for 1 minute. Umar is raising his hand as the co-host. Maybe he wanted to pass a message. Umar, please go ahead, sir.
Yes, I just Garba's submission. He has made 2 submissions, and I need to correct him a little. One, he said it was in stopping the third term agenda, it was the opposition. No, the third term agenda was stopped by the PDP themselves. It was this PDP that stopped the third term agenda, not the opposition, because the presiding officers at that time were the former governor of Katsina State in the House of Representatives, and of course Nnamani.
Ken Nnamani.
Yes, Ken Nnamani was the presiding officer in the Senate. They stopped the third term agenda and not the opposition. So perhaps, when we address issues that have to do with contending parties, this is an opinionated place. You can agree and disagree, and when you agree or disagree, you disagree, we will later come and see the true position of things. Nobody is trying to appropriate to say it is Akpabio that is right or that it is Natasha that is right. But we felt that her fundamental human right has been breached. As a woman, she is complaining, this is what has happened to me. And please, Senate, listen to me. And Akpabio Okay, you are the accused. You recuse yourself. Let the Senate listen. If they find her guilty, then any punishment they deem fit to give her, it is within their own legitimate right to do so, and not to just operate in anyhow manner. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Olatunde, please, I'm not sure why you raised your hand, but I have another speaker who has not contributed. Can we kindly allow him, please, if that's okay? Or is it urgent that the House needs to address?
I'll wait my turn.
Okay, thank you. Omar, please, I can see we have about 31 requests. Please, if you can, bring as many people as possible up. We're going to extend the
Yes, if I have to bring
time
so
we can
many
get.
people, then I have to drop some other people. This is
Okay, that's fine. So let me. Okay, that's okay. Let's quickly hear this other speaker, and then those who has contributed and who feel that their voice has been heard. Please, if you can kindly drop and let's bring other people up, that would be very helpful. Thank you. Okay, your Black Daz, I think I got your name right. Good evening. How are you doing, sir? Black Daz. That's Black Daz. Okay, he's not responding.
Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening. Sorry, it has been a nice deliberation all this while. So my contribution is this. Over the years, the legislature has always been a cause for concern for Nigerians. If you look at this new this set of National Assembly, one of the biggest problem we've had is the adherence to the rule of law, whether we like it or not. No matter how we view this whole issue, the rule book for the National Assembly does not supersede the Constitution of Federal Republic of Nigeria. For the case of Akpabio, number one, we look at the proportionate response from the National Assembly. How? If our offense for the first time is on disorderliness in the National Assembly, does it warrant a suspension for 6 months? Does it also warrant withdrawal of our legislative aids, suspension of our allowances, and that of our security aids? That's if the first issue of disorderliness in the National Assembly as regards the allocation of seats. If that's not the case, if it is not a good let's say I don't know the right word to use, but if that's not the right punishment of giving in excess 6 months suspension for disorderliness, then there's something behind the suspension that we don't know about. Now she has come up with the allegation of sexual harassment, and in a sane climb, the first in the National Assembly, the Ethics Committee is supposed to do, because when she was submitting her petition, the presiding officer was giving the clerk the order to draft a suspension letter. And even when the suspension was read, some members it was on the background, some members were already saying she's not even coming, she's no longer coming back. So the old punishment on Senator Natasha is already something that is predetermined, is premeditated already. It has nothing to do with the issue of allocation of seats, disorderliness, or the sexual harassment case. Now, what they are trying to do is just to shut her up. We have, like I said, the National Assembly, you have the female legislators are outnumbered, 105 to 4. That's what they have. And the National Assembly is a place where everybody is struggling for what each constituency we get. Everybody is trying to, counter the other person, and, you do alignment with one party and the other. But again, 39 PDP legislators, let's say 38 minus Natasha, not one out of them stood up and said anything. The other senators that came up to speak on her behalf, pleading for they should revisit the punishment. Senator Adams Oshomole is of the APC. Ahmed Lawal is of the APC. No opposition party stood up for her. And like we see, it is not all about politics. It is about the Nigerian society. What happens to our women that are working in other places, other sphere of life, when they are sexually harassed? What is the next step? And mind you, we had delegation from the UK that were in the house yesterday when it happened, and they saw everything that happened. Somebody was saying this morning that even if the UK person delegation were there, what does Nigeria has to do with the UK? And I said, but every election year we send our presidential as a candidate to Chatham House to go and do interview. So it's a big deal. So the first thing the Senate Committee on Ethics is supposed to do, number one, again, I don't know who made these rules that I cannot sign a petition that I want to submit in the House. As a sitting senator, I need another senator to sign on my behalf. It's a ridiculous law that I cannot sign the petition myself. And it's unfortunate that out of 109 senators, Natasha could not get one to stand up and sign the petition for her. A grievous allegation of sexual harassment by the number 3 citizen of the country. And they are trying to shut her up. I know that I've known Natasha since 2016. I've worked with her personally, and I will tell you, she's somebody that will not back down. She will see it to the end. She doesn't care the consequences. Unfortunately, the legislature that is supposed to be the hope of this country right now with everything we are going through has been turned into a kind of occultic group whereby they try as much as possible to silence those that want to make that heard their opinion. Senator Ningi, we had the issue with Ovioma Agege, we had issues with even Shehu Sani, and a whole lot of them. And it goes a long way. Imagine a senator saying that Natasha is like my younger sister and she's not supposed to speak to the Senate president the way she did. That the Senate is for matured men. So I'm still surprised. I'm still thinking if our red chamber is for councilmen, old men like the village setting. So going forward, what I think we can do is that the Senate will have to revisit this case, because globally this is an issue that is going to raise eyebrows all around the world, and it tells on our democracy. Right now our democracy is struggling, and this has happened. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir, for your wonderful contribution to the subject matter. It's one thing for us to stand here or sit here, depending where you are, to talk about this, and quite a number of individuals feel that, okay, they only talk and nothing will happen out of it. I for myself, I don't know what people have achieved on hosting spaces, but I can tell you on this particular platform, at least those who are very close to me will know what we have achieved. There are quite a number of individuals listening to the platform. You don't know who else is listening. But it's not something that we are saying, we are not saying that Akpabio is guilty, right? But what we are saying, I think I'm speaking for every other person. Please, if you disagree with me, raise your hand and I would correct myself, is that there has to be an investigation. It's very important. There has to be an investigation. And I really like the point the last speaker made. When we talk about what happened in other countries, Western world, as we call them, then quite a number of persons are, why are we comparing ourselves with that? But he made a very important point. Now, we'll go to those places and speak for them to hear us, to come and, help us monitor our elections. But we don't want to do what those people are doing. As a country, Nigeria is going to be how many years in October? We have only had one female governor. I am not saying we would just get a female and put them as a governor. We need credible candidate, whether female or male. But it's very important at this point that we encourage more women into politics, right? We cannot, as a people, allow this to just go underneath the carpet. No, if Senator Natasha is wrong, let the Senate punish her. but there has to be an investigation. If Senator Akpabio is wrong, let the Senate punish him. That's what that's what I'm asking for. Okay, please, everybody who is on my DM, I am struggling to bring anybody up. It's not, I know that's why Umar Sani is the person you guys will be disturbing right now, because I made him a co-host because I'm really struggling. I can see we have about 31 requests. Please, Umar, bring as many as possible up, and let's those who have spoken who don't think they need to contribute, you can kindly drop from the speaker section, and then we'll continue the conversation. Who's next? I think Olatunde wanted to say something. Who's next? Was it Dr. Udo? Okay, Dr. Udo, please go. Sorry, Olatunde, is that you?
Yeah.
Or Dr. Udo?
You
Okay.
said that. I was just thinking, is it possible that the people can email the Senate? Maybe you email your senators who's representing your constituent and show look, exactly what you said. Now we have an issue of contention between two senators. It needs to be investigated properly and the right manner. We have to keep the pressure up on these people. You were talking about other claims and everything. Boris Johnson in July 2022, he appointed a man into a position. This man had been found guilty of sexual assault cases in House of Parliament. Boris Johnson said, "Oh, I didn't know about it." And then they put up the receipts to show him that he was made aware of this in the past. And despite that, he still appointed him. That was one of the reasons that led to Boris Johnson resigning. So we need to, if we're saying yes, different, we might want to do things our own way, but there's some things that are meant to do right. I know one of our previous speakers was saying, oh, it's an issue of sittings and everything. But this has gone past that. An allegation of sexual assault has been made. I'm sure no person, no parent would want your child to come home and say, I was assaulted or there was sexual assault at my workplace. And then you're talking about procedures and they have their rules. What is right at any point in time. We need to, it might be Senator Natasha today, it might be somebody else tomorrow. It might come closer to home. And on a final thing, one word I used to describe Senator Akpabio, I withdraw that word. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Because of time, we should be rounding up very soon, hopefully in the next 20 minutes or 25 minutes. So whoever is speaking next, please be very brief with your submission. Let's quickly go to Dr. Udo. Dr. Udo, you have the mic, sir.
Yes, Bison, thank you. Finally, I'm able to come up. I've been in and out of the space. Well, I think a lot has already been said, so I will just point out a few things I think that I feel should be very, very important. I don't want to take sides on the issues. What I think is important to point out is that, one, the former Senate President, Bukula Sariki, had written a very wonderful tweet concerning this issue, and I think he called for the proper things to be done. And the proper thing being that this woman has to be heard, Akpabio has to be heard, everybody has to have a fair hearing on the issue, on the matter. There is this thing that I observed this morning in the Nigerian Senate when the Senate President was reading the prayer.
All right. So what's happening? Are we losing people from this platform?
I can hear you. I think it was when he was speaking. Maybe his connection went in and out.
No, they speak. Okay, Umar, what's going on? People are dropping down. He was speaking and he's no longer here. Gosh, what's going on?
Sorry, hello?
Okay. I think I might need to. There's not enough time to restart this page because he's speaking and he's dropping down. All right, quickly, let's pass the mic to Ariwa then. Ariwa, you have the mic. Who else do we have? Okay, Ariwa is not.
Good morning, Mindset, and good morning to everyone on the platform. Well, you see, Mindset, regarding the issue, it's Senator Natasha. You know, I like when people drop emotions aside and face the situation head on. In my own honest opinion, I think Senator Natasha didn't do due diligence to what she was supposed to do. When you're coming at the king, you better don't miss. If she knew she had something of that nature with Akpabio, I think the most ideal thing she needed to do was to build her case around him properly. The reason why it is important that she built her case around it properly is because the ideology, even around the world, of cancellation, all that cancel culture, that somebody will just randomly accuse you of something and then everybody will just go ahead with it. People have lost their lives, their jobs, their means of livelihood, their status. They have lost their family, they have divorced and everything because of false allegations. So if you are coming for somebody of the status of Akpabio, who happens to be the Senate President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, you need to come correct. You just have to come clean. You need to nail him. Not all this shabby accusation of his words against hers. It won't fly. That is the simple truth. So if she knew at some point that she will want to bring these advances of his public, or she intend to do something about it, it is very important that she could have taken her time to build a proper case, come with proper evidence. If it means even entertaining for a while, not particularly taking it all the way through, just to be able to gather hard evidence on anything she's saying. And definitely, nobody that is in the Senate chamber that will not fight to protect the integrity of the chamber. It is not about Akpabio. It is about the reputation of every senator that is there and the subsequent and antecedent that they will set if this case have gotten its way the way a lot of people emotionally attached to the case wanted it to, like Akpabio resigning and what have you. So even the ideology around the world is changing. This is why you can see how overwhelming Donald Trump was doing in his election because of his anti-woke culture and what have you. It is important that in circumstances like this, you come with something tangible. I'm not saying Akpabio didn't, but how can she prove it? You can look at who the person is. I don't even like Akpabio as a person, but you need to understand the office is occupying, the integrity of that office, and what it says about Nigeria as a whole and every Nigerian. If that's what the number 3 citizen of the country is indulging himself in, I think we all have a problem. So if you're coming with something like that, you have to come correct. You have to come with very, very hard and tangible evidences beyond just mere words. So it is important that when we are dealing with cases like this, we should recall that many people have been falsely accused of rape and sexual harassment that have cost them their lives. So Akpabio being innocent or not is not the case. You have to prove it beyond reasonable doubt. That is just my fault with Natasha. She didn't. I think she let her emotions get the best of her. Or she turned it into something else that I don't really understand because it didn't become a thing until recently after the seat issue and what have you. So in my own honest opinion, mindset, I think it's important that she didn't do her due diligence, and that is why it is backfiring this way. Thank you. I'll yield for now.
Okay, thank you very much. But let me quickly respond to what you said. I hear a lot of people say this, in your own words. She shouldn't. What do you mean she should not miss? That she have to come with something tangible. Sexual harassment. What more, what other tangible evidence do you need? What other tangible accusation do you need? She have not been given an opportunity to speak about this case. You have bring her her petition, right? She might have some evidence that myself, you, and every other person don't have access to. So when we talk about she missed and she doesn't miss, this is sexual harassment. There are a lot of people who have been sexually abused and harassed, and they don't want to speak about it. It's not something people are very. It's not something you woke up in the morning and said, "Oh, I've been sexually harassed," and you keep clapping about it, right? She might have thought about it and said, "Okay, how will people think about this?" I'm not saying this thing happened, but what I'm saying here is you're saying that she has to have a tangible, in your own words, evidence. There's nothing more tangible than her coming out to say, "This is what has happened to me." Now it's left for the Senate, and in your own words, the Senate president is, the position and all these things. The position can be heaven on earth, but if for any reason this happened, we cannot look at, say, because it's the number three citizen in Nigeria and say, no, we shouldn't do it because, we have to protect the integrity of the Senate. What is the integrity there? If you look at what transpired today, sir, please let me land. There is absolutely nothing integrity about that Senate, in my own opinion, today, because I will tell you this. The lady in question was not given an opportunity to speak. You saw it, sir. Right? In one hand, we want a better country, but then again, we want to push something and then believe that that's what it should be because we shouldn't talk about it. She should have come out. Let every one of them, the senior president, give her a level playing field. Let her present her case. When she presents her case, you do your due diligence and do you find out that she's lying, she made these things up. So be it. Nigerians will say, okay, Senator Natasha, we are not with you. But as it stands right now, this woman has not been given the opportunity, and we're here talking about tangible evidence, tangible case. She missed what? She didn't miss anything. She had an opportunity to present her case. She has not been given an opportunity to speak. She has, she's doing everything she can humanly possible to be heard. And I do understand where you're coming from, but I want to respectfully disagree with you. There's nothing. She has not missed anything. The Senate, if they want that particular, if they want the House to be called the hallowed chamber or whatever, what have you, they must allow for a thorough investigation. Senate president has to step down for the time being, as long as this investigation is going ahead, because we cannot have him there to be the jury, the judge, and the execution of this whole thing. I disagree with you respectfully, sir. I know you want to respond, quickly, so we can round up quickly because I have other speakers who have not responded. Quickly, Ari, you go ahead.
Thank you, Mindset. You see, Mindset, I'm not just talking from hearsay, or she literally had an opportunity to present her case, which she did with a whole petition. I'm telling you this from the contents of her petition, not from what she said. The content of her petition has nothing tangible in it attached, aside from the fact that there are some words that were uttered by the Senate president, which doesn't have any backings. So it's more of a situation of award against his. And I am telling you this, that if the Senate decide on its own capacity to take the popular opinion on any situations like this, I think we'll be changing Senate presidents literally every week, because anybody that has a problem with anybody who is the Senate president can just come up with something and say it like that. So it's not the issue of just Natasha's case, it's the issue of how do you prevent people who don't have any tangible reason to bring forward huge accusations. Like, because if it's a sexual harassment case, we are talking about the life of somebody here. He is done for if what she is coming with is true. I want you to understand the magnitude of the punishment that is supposed to be attached to him. In his own aspect, he is done for if that is confirmed to be true. So there's no sideways in it, there's no halfway into the situation. If she's right, he is done for, because he's not just leaving this office as the Senate president. I think he's done politically with any other political appointment. He might even lose his marriage and everything. So there's no in between. It's either he is done for or they threw away this particular situation. And that's exactly what they did, because what the petition she brought was not tangible enough. Thank you.
Okay. This is where I disagree with you again, sir. Listen, guys. I know people might be comfortable with the way are done on this platform. If you're not comfortable, you have two things you can do. You can kindly, respectfully remove yourself from the platform, right? We won't condone here you coming to tell us on this platform. Okay. Otherwise, he's done or done for. They should allow for a proper investigation. That's my point. If they find him guilty, he's done for. That is his business, right? If they don't find him guilty, he continue to be the Senate president and move on with his life. That's period. All right. Let me quickly pass the mic to Abe. Abe, Governor, please go ahead, sir. Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Peace unto the house, peace unto the host, and peace unto the co-host. I've listened attentively to different people's opinion, so I'm just going to drop mine. And I'm going to start with something I always tell people. Opinions. Everyone is entitled to their own opinions, but opinions are not facts. And opinions aren't facts, so we should stop worrying about what people think in general. So I'm going to drop my 2 cents. This thing is called sensationalism. And I've followed politics since probably the early 90s, from even the PDM days to PDP to APC to everything. So I'm familiar with the politics being played in this 10th National Assembly. What Natasha did, is it right? Is it wrong? We don't know. What Senate President did, is it right? Is it wrong? We don't know. But one thing for sure is, in the 10th Assembly or in the National Assembly, there are rule books, and the chief flaunts the rule books. Some people are from the school of thoughts that she did. We had so many arguments. She sat on a seat she wasn't meant to. She wasn't respectfully presenting a case, blah, 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 blah. And then one wonder, is she being used? And there's an approach that they call the triangular approach. And that is why I want to drop my 2 cents. How come no senator supported her out of the 109 senator? There's a question mark there. Secondly, we should go back to what even happened a couple of weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago, when a student slapped a lecturer. She was suspended. People will rally around. And I'm sure that's why senators are rallying around to support their chairman, which is the Senate president. Now, secondly, if you look at the triangular approach, if Akpabio should step down, which maybe should be the right thing to do, investigation, code and ethics, chairman on code and ethics, and blah, 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 should investigate the thing. Who would benefit if Akpabio steps down? We remember the rancor that happened in this 10th Assembly. We knew the contending candidates, the likes of distinguished Senator Yari, the likes of the disgruntled Senator Lawan. And to me personally, and this is my own opinion, I believe she was being used. And of course, Yoruba will say Kujelo. She didn't eat a cake, because if she had a way, then of course the disgruntled people within the same party. Now, this is not an opposition accusation. Within the APC, the disgruntled senators would probably hijack the 10th National Assembly, and then we know what happens. Our anchor will go on to 2027. So that is my own point, because the leading senior ranking members, they are not speaking. And that's why I mentioned the likes of the Yari and the Lawans and co. We knew what happened to Senator Dodo from Adamawa. We knew what happened to Senator Ninge from Bauchi. We knew what happened to Senator Oshimole from Edo State. If you go, it's a strong establishment. I don't want to call it a cabal. And we knew even what happened to Senator Lujimi when she was in the 8th and 9th Assembly, when she was pushing the gender equality bill. We knew how they shot Senator Lujimi down also. So everybody should know that that institution is a very strong institution. And like the last speaker said, if you are going to go against the Senate president, you need to come with a very, very strong evidence. Like I now said, opinions are not facts. Everyone has a right to their opinion. My opinion could just be my opinion. Now, everybody is claiming she's at fault. But the last time I checked, even under the rule book of the Senate, first time senator, she's a junior senator, she's not a ranking, but they still give her local content and chairman on LC. And she moved any motion on the committee she was heading. That was a very powerful committee for a first timer, and they're giving a ranking senator. So I think the 10th Assembly has been nice to her. And there are rumors that there were rancors in her committee, she was not cooperating, Nigerian factor, blah, 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 blah. We knew what the likes of Senator Serial, our close associates, and some of us that are close to the National Assembly, we know what is going on. And even in the opposition party, which is the PDP, I'm very familiar with the opposition party. And I'm also familiar with distinguished Umar Sani, that is here. I was a card-carrying member of the opposition party. I worked with the likes of distinguished Umar Sani, Baba Lili, Abdullahi, and so many of the likes of them. Shegun Showumi, 2019 spokesman. We knew all these things, how this politics is being played at ASO, and civil support organization. So we know the movement with the likes of the Adamu and Mehmet. So when I hear Nigerians speaking about this thing, people do not look in depth. Was this woman just being used to oust the Senate president so that they can hijack the control, the disgruntled people in the ruling party, and perhaps the disgruntled people in the opposition party? This is what we need to look at. And of course, the current administration will want to protect the legislative arm of government in order for them to be able to pass their bills and their policies and everything, which, fortunately, unfortunately, Senator Akpabio is doing their bidding for them. Some people will call it a rubber stamp Senate, which I agree with, because there should be checks and balances. So I just believe, in my own opinion, that Senator Natasha is just a pawn in the game, and she fell for that game. Unfortunately, she did not win the battle. Ivy Governor, thank you very much, and I yield the mic. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Abe Governor, for your submission. Now, I've heard yourself and I think other speakers talk about, this case has no meaning and everything. The simple thing myself, let me speak for myself, please, that I'm asking for is, let there be an investigation. If at the end of the day, the Senate find out she made these things up, that thing they have in their rule book that they have to, sanction her or whatever fine she has to pay, let her pay it. That's not a difficult thing to do, sir. Because we keep saying, somebody sent her and everything. She have made this allegation. Let them investigate. It's not. At the end of the day, it has to be done the right way. That's my position. I know I've said it about 70 times, and there's quite a number of individuals are not happy about it. That's me. Senator Akpabio is somebody's father, is somebody's husband and everything. Senator Natasha is somebody's wife, is somebody's mom and everything, right? She said this thing. He said no. He said this did not happen. Do the investigation. At the end of the day, if you find out she's lying, be her. Do whatever you wish to with the rule of the Senate. That's what I'm asking for. That's not a difficult thing to do, is it? Anyway, quickly, let me pass to the other speaker. Beautiful Flower, I think that's your name. Good evening. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you. Hi. Hopefully you can hear me. Thank you, Mindset. Hi everyone. I wanted to hopefully I can't even, I've heard so many things tonight. Okay, so we're talking about a case where she alleged sexual abuse. So she's the victim. And I understand that, okay, she's coming against a political juggernaut, and so again, anybody can be a predator. Anybody can sexually abuse. Whether it's the number 3 man of Nigeria or your gate man, it doesn't matter. And anybody can be a victim. Even a badly behaved person can experience crime. They can be a victim of a crime. So when we are bringing in a character, whether she had rancor, she was part of a committee, she didn't have rancor, that's besides the point. She has alleged that something happened to her, right? And I agree with Mindset. Let the due process. I mean, they have a due process in the Senate. They know how to go about these things, right? Now, the idea that, okay, see, we're talking about even during consent, right? issues like this happen in private. And this is why it is hard to prove, because it's usually two people. It's usually, I've never seen, it's very rare where you would see, apart from maybe if it's a violent case where maybe there's a police investigation, and then there's a rape kit involved. But if it's something that it wasn't really violent, right? I mean, women will know these things, and some men, right? You would understand what she's talking about. And most of the time, if you pay attention to what she said, the example she gave, one of the examples she gave, we don't know if she has other evidence, right? Was when she was at his house, and he kept leading her, and the husband was behind. That happens. Most women will know. Some of these things that we're talking about, it's never from strangers. It's never in the places you people think. I guess maybe Nollywood has painted this idea in Nigerians' mind that, these things happen in the dark, you are alone. It's usually among acquaintances, family members, and sometimes even these men would see your significant other like this. It's in the way they will argue sometimes, and, argue and also pull you in disrespectfully. Right? And they know it's public. You can't really do anything. Most of the time, you just push back, or it's in the way they do the handshake, or it's the way they repeatedly act like they're laughing, and they continuously you just find this person around you. It's almost like a compass clue, right? Sometimes it is so hard to explain, right? And so you have to understand that when she alleges, she's not a child. She knows who she's talking about. So when she alleges, and women rarely lie. I know people lie about stuff, but when it comes to sexual abuse, women, half the time we keep quiet, especially when a lot of things are at stake. So I don't want us to minimize this and turn it into political opposition. If opposition wants to come against, want to take over the 10th Assembly, there's so many ways. They don't need to use Natasha. All right? And the behavior of the opposition, to me, is shameful. Right? And I understand, okay, this man, other people have their bills, and Nigeria is not a normal place. If you annoy somebody, even if they did you wrong, but because you're sort of seeking favor from them, you swallow everything they do. So whether people rally around her or not, we know most of the time when issues happen, it's people first. It's people are selfish. You want to, first of all, make sure you're fine. So that's not what I'm looking at. What I'm saying is, it's a merit to allegation. And if let's allow it play out. When we begin to minimize and give it different intonation, we're doing a disservice even to powerless victims. And we're allowing men who are predators to continue to get away with this nonsense. And that's the caution that I want to give, right? So whether she's badly behaved doesn't mean she cannot be a victim of anything. Right? So whether she's rancor or whatever, or politics, no. And she said it, right? That because of that, she didn't even say anything about it. But because of that, if she wants to do her job, this man hinders her job. Come on. It's Natasha, for God's sakes. Thank you, Mindset.
All right, thank you very much, a beautiful flower, for your wonderful submission. Now, you said something which I'm going to respond to. Women don't lie, and everything. Women lie, men lie, every human being lie, right? So I just want to put it out there. Everybody can lie. Lying is not something only meant for men. Women lie, men lie. But the truth of the matter here for me is that this case has to be investigated. It's very important that we go through that route and make sure that everyone is clear. If at the end of the day, Senator Akpabio did not do this thing, then, Senator Natasha then would bear the consequences of making these stories up in quote, right? But if this happened, then let the right thing be done. That's my own position. I think I've said it 70 times, and I will continue to say it. There has to be an investigation. We cannot just sweep it under the carpet, right? But thank you very much. Who else do we have? I think we have. I think we're done with the speakers, right? Okay. It's actually 3 minutes past 1, right? And it's been a very okay. Sorry, is it Allegra? Allegra. Is that? I can see somebody here. Allegra.
Yes, yes. So,
Okay, please quickly. So,
okay. Good
okay, go
morning,
ahead, sir.
good morning, good evening, good afternoon. It depends on anywhere you are listening from. Myself, I thank you once again. I see a pleasure to speak in your to speak in this.
Sorry, sir. Don't worry about thanking me for speaking on the platform. We do not have
Uh,
enough time. Just go straight to your point, please. Thank you, sir.
okay. What I'm saying, the committee made a statement yesterday that the petition she submitted was signed by herself. And today, what happened? That she resubmitted the petition again. Why didn't they look into it? That is what Nigeria are saying. Why didn't they look into it? If they find out that she's not getting, or Akpabio is not getting, then they can suspend her, even give her 6 years. It's none of our business. But why didn't they look into the petition, the allegation? And I want to use this opportunity to call on Nigerians. Please, let us stand up and go and protest. Because I expected obviously, because I was calling her today. Why not lead some women to that National Assembly and present our petition? Look at what we are saying. We are saying you people should investigate this matter. Let Akpabio step down. If at the end of everything, and this woman is lying, they can suspend her. Let us go and protest to this National Assembly, because they are not there for Nigerians, they are there for themselves. Let them amend rules, especially INEC, so that in 2027, anybody that going there will go there with the mindset that he's going there to represent Nigeria.
I think we've lost Mr. Allegora. Okay, quickly, because of time, we have Clarita. Clarita, good evening. Good morning. You have the mic, please.
Hi, Mindset. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. So I'll keep it short. So I think it's very disingenuous when people come up and say things like, "Oh, it's just politics," or "She needs to come with evidence," and all of that. I mean, Akpabio has a reputation of sexual harassment, and we're not going to say we don't know. We've had other people come out. We've had the former MD of the NDDC come out to say she literally had to, you know, physically assault Akpabio in self-defense because, he was sexually harassing her. So we know that to an extent, although it's circumstantial, we know that this is what he does, right? But we know that's not enough for an investigation. An investigation has to happen where they take all the facts, assess it, and determine whether there's a case. But how you know a country is a failed country is when there are no repercussions, when there are no consequences for bad behavior on all levels, whether it's in the judiciary, the legislature, or in the executive arm. People do whatever they want to do, they sexually harass women, and there are no ramifications. And that's the problem with Nigeria. You cannot come and say you are all for good governance when you are minimizing an issue like this. What do you think Natasha stands to gain by putting herself out there in this light? It actually paints her in a bad light more than it does any good for her. But she chose to come out. When this incident, allegedly happened, she didn't come out then. She only came out because she was starting to get victimized. She was starting to get punished by Akpabio. And that's why she had to come out to speak, to protect herself or to fight for herself. In the United States, I don't know if you're familiar with the whole Matt Gaetz issue, where there was an ethical issue as well, where he was actually paying underage women to have sex with him. And because of that, he was not approved to be the Attorney General of the United States. If that incident had happened in Nigeria, you would see people come out on this platform and say, "Oh, it was consensual. Why would they punish him for something that, both of them, he paid them? Did he not pay them? It's normal." That's exactly what we are doing. So we cannot want the progress of, the Western countries in Nigeria, and then we're supporting things like this. We all know she's being victimized. Even the ethics committee throwing out a petition, they're just looking for a way to kill the issue. That's the truth. But you have a situation where you only have 4 women in the Senate. Only 4. The lowest, if you look at other countries, Nigeria has one of the lowest female representation in the legislative arm. And it's for reasons like this. And I don't think this is a good thing, especially for women who want to go into politics. I don't think it's encouraging, especially when we come up here and say things, like, oh, she's just being used and being used to play politics. How do you think that sounds to your female relatives who have ambitions of actually becoming something in politics? It doesn't go well. That's my opinion. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Clarita, for your submission. As I said it like 70 times, and I will continue to say it for those joining the space now. Assistant Senator Natasha has put out the petition. Senator Akpabio said this did not happen. My point still remains that this has to be investigated, and then at the end of the day, let them come up with, the true fact of what transpired, right? A lot of people are getting tired of me repeating the same thing, but I have to because hosting spaces, somebody would just join the spaces and then it would appear that, we have decided who the winner is or who the loser is, right? So if you're not comfortable that I keep repeating myself, I don't have to apologize. This is how I host my spaces, right? But thank you very much. So do we have any other person who has not contributed yet? So we can round up quickly. Okay. It's been a very interesting conversation, and I must thank. Oh, Roy, sorry.
Umar, I'm
Please
also
go ahead
sorry,
quickly, sir.
mindset. I'm also here, please.
Roy, please go ahead quickly.
Okay. I'll be really quick. All protocols observed. I just want to say that we should be mindful. Well, this is my take anyway, as usual, my opinion. Nobody is going to live forever. One thing I want Nigerians to be aware of is that if we have a system that works, we will go to sleep knowing that our future is secure. The future of our children and their children in turn as well is secure. What we are asking is for due process. If Akpabio is innocent and we have a system, if the foundation had been laid, we will not be worrying. The truth will come out. In that same vein, if Natasha is lying, she'll be found out. If she is truly a victim, it'll come out. But we cannot be, allowing criminality and illegality to keep going on and on. If it's not in elections, it's in the way we have video evidence of bribery going on, and the guilty will go free simply because they're powerful. We must ensure that we empower the people, we empower our system such that those that are vulnerable will get justice. What is happening? We're simply asking for due process, just common sense, that's all. If a powerful man, as the third most powerful person in the country, is innocent, if you have a working system, it'll show that he is innocent. But if he's guilty, then nobody should be above the law. If it's the president, whether he's INEC appointed, INEC installed, or truly elected president, we should be confident that justice will prevail. But that is not the case here. So, no matter what our opinion is, we should be asking that we have a system that works. I yield.
Okay, thank you very much, Roy. Dr. Odo, please go ahead.
Okay, yeah, mindset. Thank you. Sorry, I have been in and out because of network, so I'll be very brief here. This is a very sensitive issue, and I'm beginning to feel that people are kind of pressurized to either be for this or against this, but it shouldn't be that way. The problem here is about due process, and I think a lot of speakers have been saying that over and over again. Had the right thing been done, Akpabio didn't sit on a case he's been accused, I don't think we would have been having this conversation. In fact, I even have the feeling that the outcome would have still been the same. Why am I saying so? If you look at the timing of the accusation, it came out, when this seat arrangement thing started. I'm not saying that she doesn't have a right to come out at any time she want to come out, but um, the timing is even problematic for some people who observe how this kind of thing happen against powerful people. I mean, so, 2 speakers ago, I think Clarita talked about the U.S. In the U.S., whenever a Supreme Court justice about to be appointed, the last one was Brett Kavanaugh, and I think in 1990 was Clarence Thomas. You keep seeing women coming out, bringing out sexual accusation. Even Bill Clinton wanted to run for president in 1988 first. It was the same thing that made him to come back, step back, and come out in 92. So it's not as if this thing is not a new thing. It's not a new thing at all, where maybe they use this kind of thing to pull down a powerful man. But the problem is, Akpabio, I did not do the right thing. I will say that and say that over and over again. He shouldn't have silenced her. This is what is making some people have the feeling that maybe he's guilty. It might not even be he's guilty. It's just that he's a powerful man. And that power dynamics is not balanced. There's an imbalance there. And that is what really makes her look like the victim in all this. And no matter how this whole thing turn out, it will always look as if he has done the wrong thing. When a simple procedure would have even exonerated him, and this woman would have even been suspended even for 1 year. Nobody would even care. Because at the end of the day, they would have conducted a proper investigation. And if it is true or not true, they will pass a judgment for or against, whether it's for Akpabio is guilty or is not guilty. If he's not guilty, I would even expect her to be given a heavy punishment, because I've seen many people's life being ruined for false allegations like this. There was a player in Manchester City I love so much that lost his whole career because of this same thing. Even the court had to ask that he be paid his salaries back to over 6 years. So this is a very sensitive thing. And for Senator Natasha, I have to give her her own flowers. She's a very strong woman. I first saw her when she fought her state governor, who tried to do everything to stop her from going to the Senate. Even had to dig. He went. I've never seen a governor reduce himself so down to even digging a road that would stop INEC people from bringing election materials to our senatorial district. But she rose above that and won, and even went to the court and fought and got her money. So this is a fighter. If Akpabio was a smart man, you wouldn't try to silence that kind of woman. It only makes issue gets worse, because she's not going to stay silent. Now that you have said that she's no longer a senator, she shouldn't be parading herself as a senator for the next 6 months. I believe that gives her a leeway now to speak freely as a common citizen, even though I do not agree with that judgment that they passed on her, because I believe that she was elected by her people and her people deserve representation. I don't really have an opinion about the court ruling that said that a senator should not be suspended more than 14 days, because I believe that there is separation of powers. The judiciary have their own rules, the executive have their own rules, and I believe the legislature should also have their own rules. So that is left, to those that can interpret it to interpret. But what I'm trying to say is that the other side of the conversation that maybe a lot of people might not be comfortable with is the fact that the Senate has its own rules too. I don't want to pass judgment on her, but I think I've seen some fault on her side too, the way she handled it from the beginning, right? I think they would have been a better way for her to have handled it. But overall, no matter what she did, maybe she didn't want to obey the rules of the Senate by, calmly taking that the directive for her to change her seat. Events have passed. Now, what is on the table is sexual harassment. That is a very big case. And I believe Akpabio, those that are close to him, including Senator Okpeyemi Bobamidele, that always jumps up in his defense, I think should advise him that posterity will not be kind to him if he allows this accusation to end like this. Because there is no, I mean, I felt so sad seeing this woman having to bow to the same man she accused of to even submit her own petition. Like, how do you feel being a judge sitting down and collecting a petition from someone that has just accused you? Is that how the law works? I don't think that's how the law was designed to work. Someone else should have even sat there to receive that petition. You have humiliated her because she has claimed something and you made her pass through that shame to come and submit her prayers to you, the accused. So I don't know if there's anybody from the National Assembly that is listening, but I think the Senate President has done wrong and he should address this before it is too late. Mindset. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Udo. We should be rounding off. We're going to be rounding off the platform tonight. It's been a very interesting conversation, and I must sincerely thank everyone who has joined, the co-host and those who has contributed, and those who, for some reason, might be having some network challenges and not able to contribute. Thank you guys. I've really, really enjoyed it. Things might not go the way we want it every time on this platform.